Right, gauges are live, that's 200 feet, our flaps would be... Wow, that one was big.
I'm Jason Miller, a full-time professional flight instructor. On the Finer Points channel, you can join me as I bring you tips and tricks that I've learned from 20 years on the flight line. Hello aviators, welcome back to the Finer Points. On this episode I'm going to show you an encounter that I had last week with a student while we were climbing away from San Carlos Airport. Now this was either an encounter with wake turbulence from an aircraft that departed in front of us, or just a legitimate encounter with severe turbulence. Here's how it went. Now, it started like any other flight lesson. We had gotten a weather briefing, and although there was an air met for moderate turbulence, we'll talk more about that in a moment, the weather looked beautiful. It was a gorgeous day to go flying. And everything was feeling good as we rolled down the runway. Shortly after liftoff, I was working with Austin on the crosswind takeoff technique and how to use the Lindbergh reference over here in the left corner to maintain his pitch and his bank. And somewhere at around 200 feet, the aircraft begins to roll to the right. And what caught my attention is Austin puts in almost full left aileron and the airplane is still rolling right. It didn't stop until he had a full left aileron deflection in. Check it out.
Right, gauges are live, that's 200 feet, our flaps would be... Wow.
So that caused me to sit up straight. You can see I kind of grabbed for the yoke right there. And that's definitely worth thinking about. Let's see that one more time.
Right, gauges are live, that's 200 feet, our flaps would be...
Now this was about the point I first noticed something was wrong. You can see Austin is deflecting a lot of left aileron there, and there was no reaction from the airplane. The PFD is dark because we're trying to keep his attention outside, so I don't know what our exact bank angle was, but I knew that with 30 degrees of bank and that much left aileron, we should be rolling out of it. Here's what it looked like inside the airplane, and you can see the initial aileron input doesn't do anything. Austin has to go completely full left aileron, which is something you rarely see as a CFI in a Cessna 172. Here's the whole sequence one more time.
Right, gauges are live, that's 200 feet, our flaps would be... Wow, that one was big. Alright, let's go ahead and over that building down there on the left, go ahead and turn left 90 degrees. Okay. So it's a really great reminder too, because you can read all day long about an air met, right? Yep. Saying that we're going to encounter moderate turbulence. Yep. So it's always a reminder to me when I get up there and encounter stuff like that there was fair warning. They told me, right? I mean, so just in the future, like you see moderate turbulence, you expect moderate turbulence. That's about the way that goes.
Now, before we went out on this day, we got a complete weather briefing through ForeFlight, but you can see here on the maps page, today's a similar day. There's an air met for moderate turbulence, and make sure you select turbulence at the bottom here, even after you turn on the air met overlay. And if you just kind of tap and let go, you'll see what that's all about. It's turbulence from the surface to 10,000. Now, if you tap to the right here and drill into the text, you can see that this is for turbulence and low-level wind shear. It's for moderate turbulence below 10,000. So there you go, fair warning. And you can see on a day like today, there's just strong winds aloft. There's potentially a lot of bumps out there. Now, what I would do if I were headed out today, and what I did on the day of this flight, was to look for any PIREPs. Are people actually encountering turbulence out there? And you can see here that we don't see any, which isn't to say we wouldn't be the first airplane to encounter it, right? So there it is, fair warning. It's in the weather products. There is an air met for moderate turbulence. We should plan to experience at least moderate turbulence. Now, you probably noticed that I immediately called this severe turbulence. It's right on the edge. It could be moderate. It could be severe. I don't even think that's the main takeaway, but it is a reminder to review in the Aeronautical Information Manual, Table 7-1-10, turbulence reporting criteria. So turbulence, remember, can either be continuous or intermittent. The intensity here on the left can either be light, moderate, severe, or extreme, and it can either be turbulence or chop, which is similar to Turbulence, just it's a little more slight, more rapid, and what the FAA says as somewhat rhythmic. Now, if you look at moderate turbulence, it's similar to light turbulence, but of greater intensity. Changes in altitude and or attitude occur, but the aircraft remains in positive control at all times. For each one of these, you can read what the reaction is inside the airplane. Occupants feel definite strains against seatbelts or shoulder straps. Unsecured objects are dislodged. Food, service, and walking are difficult, as they always are in the Cessna 172, and then again, how to report it. Now, if you look at severe turbulence, it's the only one that talks about the aircraft may be momentarily out of control. So what we encountered there was arguably severe turbulence. I'm fine if you call that moderate turbulence. The main takeaway is to review the reporting criteria here in 7-1-10 so that you're familiar with how to describe this to air traffic control, so we can get those PIREPs back over on the maps page and let the next pilots that are about to launch into this atmosphere, make them aware of what's actually going on out there. It's also a great chance to review wake turbulence avoidance procedures. Now, wake turbulence is one of these things where I think we often get away with murder. We're often told to use caution for wake turbulence. We don't change a whole lot about what we're doing, and I think we get lucky that we don't encounter it more often. Now, let's say that was wake turbulence. Just take a moment to review wake turbulence avoidance procedures. Certainly you can wait. You can wait out a period of 2 minutes, let the wake dissipate, let the wake descend, let it move out of your flight path. You can also try to outclimb the aircraft in front of you, but often that's not practical, especially for a small, light airplane. So other things you can do are to offset upwind. Make sure that you offset significantly and early enough so that you're out of the flight path of the aircraft in front of you, and making sure that you're not going to get hit by the wake.
Right, gauges are live at 200 feet. Our flaps would be... Wow.
All right, aviators, that's all for this video. I hope you got something out of our experience there. I think that's a great reminder for all of us, no matter what we're flying. And a huge thanks to Austin for allowing me to publish his flight training to the internet for everyone's benefit. Congratulations to Austin. He has recently become a private pilot. He has moved on to his instrument rating, and if you are interested in seeing an early instrument lesson, pretty much start to finish, relatively unedited, it is live on Patreon, available to patrons at patreon.com/learntfp. A huge thanks to the sponsors for their support of this show. Without the support of the sponsors and the patrons, these free videos and podcasts week over week just would not be possible. If you're headed to Oshkosh next month, be sure to look me up. I'm speaking at the AOPA Pavilion on Thursday at 12 noon, and I'll be at 4Flight on Friday at 12 noon. There will be some other stuff in there, so follow me on Instagram at Learn the Finer Points. A big thanks to you, the best fans on the internet, for liking this video and sharing this video and watching this video. I'm Jason Miller, and until next time, be safe and fly your best.